Before there were shoes, and the monkey's paw curled one long finger. So I just rolled out of bed, and I looked at the news, and it's another one of those classic Nintendo kind of like good news, bad news, like bad good news things where it should be happy about some cool news, but then I end up just being grumpy about it. I am really, I have so much to say, and I don't know if it's worth doing a whole video in addition to what we're doing right here. But I really don't know. I do have just so much to say on the matter, so I'm just gonna kind of play it by ear. So this morning, Nintendo revealed a new model of Switch. It is the Switch OLED model. It was just one of those random drops, and it's funny because like they clearly very, very deliberately waited until after E3. Not even that long. What's it been, like a few weeks? Which means that yes, definitely they don't want to reveal hardware during E3. That's kind of what we were suspecting before. That's why we thought there would be a drop before E3, but apparently not. Apparently they wanted everybody focusing on the games, and then they waited till after, and it was one of their perfect little slots. It was like, you know, 7 in the morning or whatever on Tuesday. It was the usual place where they give us big reveals and stuff, and they did it, and they just kind of dropped this thing out there, and it's the Switch OLED model. It's not called the Switch Pro. Of course it's not called the Switch Pro. Never thought it would be the Switch Pro. I did think it would be, I mean, OLED it's there's a reason the name doesn't go along with the conventional reasons that we thought that it would, and that's because the Switch itself is basically unchanged. Whatever. You know what? Gonna go through the specs here, or rather the features as listed on the website and in the little thing. Okay, so like the biggest major thing, the screen is bigger. The Switch itself is the same exact size, but the screen is bigger. Smaller bezel, goes from a 6.2-inch LCD screen to a 7-inch OLED screen, which is cool. A little bit bigger, not higher resolution, but it is OLED, which means the colors are going to be nice and just sharp and crisp, and OLED is wonderful. I finally got an OLED TV, and I am sold on the wonders of OLED. Screen burn-in is a little bit of a worry, but I guess with a handheld game, you're less likely to, like, leave it on, you know? At least for me, if I'm not playing it, I'm just gonna pop it. You just press the button, you just pop it right off, and you're done. So that's easy enough, so I don't think that'll be as much of a problem as long as it doesn't, like, auto-dim all the time or something. And then, like, a bunch of stuff that was all rumored, like, completely rumored. The wider kickstand. It's more like it's like a Surface Pro thing, where instead of the horrible little kickstand we have now, it's like a big wedge that comes out from the back of the thing, which makes it much easier to play tabletop mode, which is very, very nice. It's also exactly what they said, but I guess we'll talk about that in a bit. Enhanced audio. I don't think that's one that anybody saw coming. Just better speakers, which is cool. I mean, like, speaker tech has gotten really good. Even my phone, like, has a pretty amazing speakers. I can just pop on music and just, like, play it. So that's nice. So you know, the speakers as they are now, they're not terrible, but they're not great either. So that's very much appreciated. And then, as rumored, a LAN port in the dock. It does seem to be a new dock, but there don't appear to be any other enhancements. You know, the previous dock was not great. Really not good. It always felt very flimsy. So I don't know. I mean, like, maybe it'll at least feel less flimsy. It's probably not going to be any easier to put it in, or any less fear that you're going to scratch your Switch or whatever. But it looks a little cooler. And even at one point in the video, kind of shows the little logo lighten up. So okay, that's one of those, like, kind of like fancy tech, you know, Apple kind of things where, like, oh, the logo lights up. Oh, that's cool. Like with the little, you know. You know, they're getting with the times in terms of, like, the little, like, oh, wow, like, cool feature-y tech stuff. Anyway, but it's, yeah, it's got a LAN port in it, which is obviously going to be better for people who are wanting to play online games with less lag and that stuff. It's not an option for me right now because the router's on the other side of the house, but I do have, like, a nice mesh network that should, in theory, be helping with the wireless. I have a perfect wireless signal, but for people for whom that is an option, that is very, very cool. You don't have to buy a LAN adapter. They're only like $10 or something, but, you know, whatever. And then upgraded internal storage. That's cool. 64 gigs versus the original's 32 gigs. It's not a ton. It's really not a ton, and it's better though. I mean, I've got like a 200 and whatever SD card in there, and it still fills up instantly because I want to have all my games downloaded at the same time, and I still have to delete stuff constantly. But you know, whatever. It is an upgrade somewhat, and so that's nice. Comes in a new color. I've never been a fan of black and white stuff. I don't know. That's one of the reasons I think the PS5 looks so bad. Just don't like black and white, but I don't know if other people do. That's cool. It just makes me want an ice cream sandwich. The price is coming in at $350 versus the original's $300, and apparently it's dropping on the same day as Metroid Dread, and that's exciting. That's something I can get pretty, oh my gosh, I can get really excited about that. A new Switch model. I mean, like, we were like, oh, what's gonna be the big holiday title or the big pack-in not pack-in, but you know, we've talked about it a lot. Like, what are they gonna release on the same day? If it's not gonna be Zelda, what's it gonna be? Apparently, Metroid Dread, that's the one. It doesn't run any better, which we'll talk about in a second, but like, that's still amazing for Metroid Dread, and I think that's a very good strategic move for Nintendo. You have a game coming out, you really want it to do well, the series has struggled in the past, there you go, a new Switch model, people go to the store, they're picking up the new Switch, look at that, there's the new game that dropped too. It just makes sense. You buy them together. I don't have the stats to like, really like prove that is going to increase the sales of Metroid Dread, but I certainly like to think that it might help. So that's incredibly exciting. I'm very happy about that. But now we come to the part, the complainy part, the sad part, the monkey's paw part. This has all of the features that were rumored, all of them that people were 100% sure on, all of them, except actually improving the way that the Switch itself runs, even though that was the only one that I actually want. This other stuff, oh, it's nice. OLED, that's cool. Smaller bezel, bigger screen. Sure, like all that's fine, but that's all just a drop in the it's just such a small thing to what, oh gosh, I'm just, see, like I said, I don't know, I guess I got so many thoughts on this, because like, it's not even like, wah, give me what it's not even like all I want is something better just because it's better. It's because the Switch is struggling. I'm just tired of playing games that are struggling to run, that I'm seeing having to use this adaptive resolution and get all low res. I mean, everything. Mario Golf, it's panning over like the hills, and you can see everything's all chunky and blocky until the camera gets close enough to it, and just like frame rate issues, and right now I'm playing Monster Hunter Stories 2. I'm trying to do a review, and the game chugs. It chugs like crazy. It's like 20 FPS, sub 20 FPS, so much of the time. I just want a more capable Switch, and that is not something that we're getting, not in any, I mean, like, at least they haven't said it, not in any way. Oh, the battery life is pretty, what would it say, it's like 5.5 hours. It seems to be like pretty much along, I mean, like, why wouldn't it be along the lines of the other, you know, the upgraded Switch model with the upgraded battery, or rather the upgraded GPU or whatever it is, because it's the same Switch. If anything, the OLED screen might help save battery because of the way the pixels light, or whatever. I don't even know exactly how all that works. But yeah, it's the same Switch, except it looks a little nicer. Except it only looks nicer in handheld mode. That's the real thing here, is like, and that's what's weird, is like, you have the Switch Lite, it's all focused on handheld, and this right here is still, you know, apart from like upgraded storage, which is everybody, and then like the LAN adapter in there, it's really just better for people who play handheld or tabletop. It's not anything, so it's which is weird. Like, you had the Switch Lite, you addressed the handheld people. Why can't we address the not handheld people? And here's the kicker, is like, I mean, like, okay, I know that when we had the 3DS, and then when they made the new 3DS, that was more expensive than the base model, even though it kind of replaced the base model. And like, this is basically the same thing, well, except even the new 3DS, even that had better load times, and certain games ran better and all that stuff. So that makes this doubly disappointing, that we're getting the same thing where it's more money. It's more money, but it doesn't actually enhance the games at all. These feel like the kinds of upgrades that would just come to the base model, and it would just stay the same price, and it would just, you know, get better because the cost of manufacturing goes down and down and down over the years. So now they're like, okay, let's roll some of that savings, put it back into the model itself. This is just the new model of Switch. Every Switch going forward has an OLED screen and has all of these enhancements, but they're not. It feels kind of weird to ask $50 more when the Switch itself has already, you know, again, gotten probably so much cheaper to manufacture, to pay $50 more for a model that's just slightly nicer in handheld mode. And that's it, with no real, and then, you know, and then we come to the whole question, like, why is it that all of these rumors were true except for the ones about increased performance? What, I mean, all these different publications were publishing these reports. Where were they getting their information when they got it? I mean, they got it exactly right. Clearly, this was like insider information with the flap in the back and the OLED screen, and like, they had it. So where did the increased performance in the 4K? I never expected full 4K, but like, you know, whatever, the DLSS, I don't know anything about all that stuff, but like, that was all part of the rumor. Where did it go? Where'd it go? I'm looking on the floor, I'm looking around, I'm not finding it. What? It's just so weird. It is a mystery. It is a very deep mystery. And then it's like there's always the chance that down the line we'll get another upgraded model, and that will be the one with the enhanced performance and all that stuff, but that doesn't seem super likely. But I don't think I want to go into that now. Again, I probably put together a whole video on this, a scripted one, all my thoughts and everything, and how weird and disappointing this is. And I know I'm probably just gonna come across as super whiny, I didn't get what I want, Nintendo YouTuber guy. But you know what? That's the risk you run when you're a Nintendo YouTuber guy, and you got strong opinions, and sometimes you gotta do a little every once in a while. So you, my beautiful viewers, head on down to them comments. Let me know, is this just funny? Were you one of the ones who are just like, the Switch Pro isn't real, I'll believe it when I see it, and now you're laughing because we kind of got our Pro and we kind of did? Like, that's the thing, it's real, but it's not real. It was a thing. There was a new model, and most of the rumors were true, except for the main one. So it's we kind of got both. It's very, very strange. So let me know. Are you gonna buy it? Do you think are you gonna upgrade your old model? Is it worth the extra $50 or whatever? Have you watch all my videos, but you don't have a Switch for some reason, and now you're like, oh, this is gonna do it. This is finally. All those games didn't do it, but 7-inch OLED screen, that pushed me over the edge. I'm definitely getting one now. Let me know. You have a good day. See you later. I mean, I gotta get it. Right? It's for the channel.